This is Deducter bringing you a commentary playthrough of the game Sword of the Stars The Pit Gold Edition. It has been many months since my last video playthrough. That was done several DLCs ago. The game has expanded somewhat. I wouldn't say... well, I would say if all the DLCs were added together, it might be close to an expansion pack. So there are a lot of new characters. For this playthrough, I will be doing hard difficulty, which is, in my opinion, the highest difficulty that you can reasonably expect to consistently beat the game at. Consistent being the key word. I have one on higher difficulties, but it's extremely luck dependent, whereas I think on hard difficulty it depends on the class, and there's certainly still some luck involved, but many of the classes you should be able to win pretty consistently if you have a solid knowledge of the game and just has a good plan going forward. You can see here Shepherd who's added, Mercenaries added, Lich is added, quite a few nice characters. This will be my first video commentary on hard, so I will be doing the Ranger, which if you're just moving up to hard difficulty in this game, of all the classes, I think the easiest are the Ranger, the Scion, or the Seeker. If you don't like Psionics, the Ranger is by far the easiest of the classes to start with on hard difficulty. That is just because she is simply one of the best starting characters. Really solid skills, really good gear. Well, the SAR is really good. Her range weapon could use some improvement. But anyway, let me just start as this character. And so here we have the Ranger start. Seeing her inventory, she starts with a SAR, a heavy pistol, and impact armor. So pretty good armor. SAR is the second best starting melee weapon. This is just a great weapon. Blade weapon does great damage, good penetration, 55 durability. The only better starting melee weapon is the Mercenaries Warhammer. But this one is just a great weapon. It could easily last you to floor 40 if you take care of it. Heavy pistol is a pretty good range weapon. One thing is the ammunition for it can be somewhat rare, so that is an issue. You also only start with 40 rounds, not very many at all, but SAR compensates for that. You want to use the SAR quite a bit early on. Tarka also has a tail swipe, and to add it, if you're a new player and you don't know how to get access to a tail swipe, I know it took me a while to figure it out, just right click on an empty action bar and add tail swipe. It's a nice AoE ranged attack. She also starts with plenty of healing, 10 instant mat patches, and a Tarka Field Surgery kit. Because she is a Tarka, her chance of succeeding is 99%, as opposed to something like 60% or 70% for many of the other classes. She starts with Utility Belt. Not really important early on since there's plenty of inventory space, but it's always nice. Now her starting food is pretty low, but that's not really a problem because she has Dream Move and her hunger rate is the same as humans, so she is the most food efficient character in the entire game, which is great for those players starting hard difficulty. They can backtrack and rest more without having to worry about food so much. She has not spectacular stats, just mediocring everything, but she gets 3 stat points per level, so that'll shoot up really quickly, and her skills are really solid. Lockpick, one of the most important skills in the game, starts at phenomenal 50. Computer is 35. Mechanical and electronic, low. Electronic really isn't that important. 25 mechanical is acceptable. Her weapon skills are great. Range weapons are fine, except for heavy weapon. Her melee weapons are all excellent. You can see, biotech forging is also amazing. Starts with 50. I mean, her skills are just super solid. And she also has limited psi power. That's perhaps her biggest weakness. Her two biggest weaknesses are relatively low hit points and basically very limited psi abilities. Her biggest strengths are she starts with Dream Move. Only one other character, the Shepherd, has that. Great starting skills, low hunger, good starting melee weapon. Ooh, that's interesting. A wall crawler. I might actually die on this level. Can't take off my armor because of that. If it lands its side drain, I will die. But it doesn't, and I almost get close to leveling. How about that? works out. Just gonna kill that bat. And then that's a rat. Don't get any ice gems, not really a big deal, since she's so efficient with food. You can afford to liberally rest heal. And do some backtracking too. I don't like to do too much backtracking anymore. I've gotten experienced enough with the game to not really need to do it too much. But resting, you should do a lot with the Ranger just because her relatively low hit point pool means you should do it. Ooh, Lamprey Hawk. I could die here. That'd be embarrassing. So Lamprey Hawks have a move of 3. If I position myself there, that one can't attack me. Yeah, I could actually die. Better level up. I start out by going Might. Resistance is great to at least Size Shield. Blade is good to pump early on, just because her best weapon is the SAR. Can't hurt to get that up a bit. And I'm going to go for Telekinesis for Manipulation, just because I love that skill so much. And if it's your first time playing through on hard difficulty, like that will just help you so much. Look at how great that SAR is. AoE, great damage.
Another kill.
Just a beautiful weapon. It does seem to take quite a bit of durability damage, but it's probably because I usually end up using it so much, and it does AoE, so look at that. Another Lamprey Hawk. I'm just repositioning myself to get the first strike on the Hawk without having to attack the Hawk at the tree, where the SAR could hit the tree and take some more damage. One thing you really learn as the Ranger is to, like, learn how to position yourself well. And think about that a lot. Positioning is very important, in my opinion, with all the classes, but especially with Ranger. That's why you have 3 move. You should exploit it as much as possible. It's always a nice feeling to have 99% checks on these rock piles. So what's the difference between hard difficulty and normal? On hard, you take more damage, more dangerous enemies show up earlier, so you could get, for instance, heavy bots on floor 10. If you're unlucky, and various other dangerous enemies can show up earlier. There aren't more enemies, but they do hit harder, and more dangerous ones show up. I think, and I'm not 100% sure about this, that your checks are generally a little worse off, like it's harder to pass some checks compared to normal, and that the quality of the spawns in the rooms are worse than on normal. In other words, you won't get as many good containers. So generally, tougher enemies. Ooh, Ghost Mater, very dangerous enemy early on. So generally, tougher enemies and just less stuff. Ghostmaker is super dangerous. You should use the SAR on it. So, let's see. I should level after this. Is there anything to do with the skill point? No. 1, 2. Alright. Good start. I'm already level 3. Let's see. Kirch Grubs. You can see just passing all these checks, except for that one, where I failed at 91%. Not really a big deal. Play this game enough, you've seen everything. You get a lot of food pellets. Not my favorite drops from these early containers. Sometimes you can get a crowbar. That's the best thing possible. +5 mechanical and really solid melee weapon. I actually think a crowbar is the best find very early on. Not for all characters, but for the Ranger certainly. Edible roots. There is a shadow bat. Those aren't too dangerous. I'm just going to use my tail swipe to kill things. If possible, use your tail swipe, except on the dangerous enemies on the first couple of floors, just because the tail swipe does not consume durability. And most of these enemies are weak enough that a couple of swipes from your tail as the Ranger will kill them. Now I got, let's see, what did I find on this floor? Some food, good amount of food actually, 3 food pellets, some Kirch Grubs, some meat, nothing really too interesting, but food is always nice. Every bit of food essentially means I get to rest heal more, I could backtrack without having to worry too much if I wanted to do so. Alright. This is floor 2 now. Crazed Tarka female. Can't see me right now. This enemy is dangerous enough that I want to use my SAR. You want to watch out. They can do quite a bit of damage without your impact armor on. Okay, it wants to attack the empty container. I'm happy with that. And I've picked up some Tarka War Bread. Very nice. Just exploring floor 2. Only some weak enemies like Nikose clumps. Ooh, bindings and shrooms. Always nice. There is a damage locker that I failed to open at 62%. Not really a big deal. Those can contain really good stuff. One of the biggest drawbacks of the Ranger is that she does not start with lockpicks. Although she does have good lockpicking, that means her chances of getting into the good weapons containers are somewhere around, well, it depends on the container itself, but usually it's not unusual. It's like 20 to 50%, and that's really not too great. So finding a lockpick set would be huge early on. Damage lockers are one of the best sources for lockpick sets. One danger of using a tail swipe is you can trigger traps, like acid spray trap, wormhole trap, mine traps. But it's a risk I'm willing to take early on. If you're gonna take risks, early on is almost always better than later. I also heard a second Crazed Tarka based on the gunshot. Don't know where that is. You want to kill the Crazed Tarkas as soon as possible, since they destroy your loot. Let's see, large virus is pretty nasty. I'm just attacking here in an attempt to hit both enemies at once. Get level 3 disease, not really a big deal. If things really get out of hand, I have antibiotics to cure it. Side shield already. It's always nice. One more point. Foraging is not a bad investment, but I might save the point for something else. I'm going to add side shield to my hotbar. Oh, that's where the Crazed Tarka is as well. That's very far away. I'm going to have to head over there. It'll probably destroy some loot. Not too much I can do about that.
Brilliant as ever.
Bordeaux, that's interesting. One of the best finds for a class that needs food, but not really very important for Tarka since she has so much. She's so food efficient. This does mean that basically I don't have to worry about food this game. And there you can see a weapon locker. Without starting with lockpick sets, my chances of getting into it are pretty low. I'm gonna come back here for a couple reasons. One, I want to kill that Crazed Tarka as soon as possible. The earlier I do it, the less loot it could potentially destroy. I'm just gonna run right up to it. When you move up to melee range, not only does Crazed Tarka miss more with her auto rifle, but she does her tail swipe attack, which is very weak. So I killed Tarka, got 24 rifle rounds. Well, whatever was in this room, she destroyed. That's very unfortunate. Let me take a look at this room here in the south with the trap. I already found one. Ooh, this is what I mean. Sometimes you step on traps early on, it really sucks. Damage my impact armor and heavy pistol. Those are actually the most susceptible things to damage. The SAR is the most valuable. So, could be worse. You can notice how that mine trap did 58 damage. Quite a bit. You want to be careful early on. I mean, if you left your armor on just because of that, I could totally understand that. It's a very reasonable precaution. Don't know what type of trap this is, so what I like to do is separate out items one at a time. So this is clearly not a bad trap since it didn't destroy my ammo. This is exactly a recharge trap. So pink is good. Try to remember that. Yeah, it's specifically a recharge trap. I can tell because I didn't get my psi or health healed back up. It didn't destroy my item. There's no other possibility. So 40%. 40% is pretty good, honestly. But because this is the Ranger, I am going to go down 2 more floors, try to see if I can get a lockpick set, and then come back here. This is what I backtrack for. Now, there is a risk of doing that. The risk is that you get wormhole trapped and you lose your chance at the weapons locker. But it's a calculated risk, of course, what I'm doing. I think, and just as I say that, I got lucky and avoided a wormhole trap. That could have teleported me to floor 6, in which case I would not be able to go back to access the weapons locker. So it's really a trade-off between, do I want to take the 40% now and potentially lose the 40%? Or, I mean, do I want to take the 40% now, or do I want to potentially lose the 40%? So I'm just doing some stuff like closing doors to funnel enemies in towards me. Don't forget, the first time you kill an enemy, you get bonus experience. So if you're not sure whether you're close to leveling or not, close to double leveling or not, you should just level. I was apparently very far away, but I was also pretty low on health, so. Now, I'm gonna keep going in resistance. I mean, it's close. The question is, do I have anything better to spend my skill points on? And honestly, not really. If you do decide to go further in resistance, you should go at least until 35 psi armor. So I've been getting very lucky, another +3. But your skill points are also pretty useful for things like mechanical, your weapon skill. Some players do not like to invest in weapon skills. I personally love to. One trick to deal with Proteans is just to drop your gear on the floor and then kill the Protean with your melee attack to they're really weak early on. So, just a little trick. Shadow Bat, they'll drain my side, but I'm not too worried about that early on. And just gonna kill as many enemies as possible with the tail swipe. This is just floor 3, nothing really bad going on.
The things are quick.
Nothing really dangerous. Gonna kill the rat with my tail swipe. Found the exit to the next floor, but always a good idea early on, at least, to finish exploring. These floors can contain really good stuff. Finding a helpful tool early on is way more helpful. So, if you find a hyper multi-tool on floor 35, it's probably not going to change whether you win or lose. But here, it might actually matter. Okay, so this room is a storage room, and it has a small weapons locker, light weapons locker, and stasis pantry. Apparently the stasis pantry is real. You always want to check when things are like incongruous. There's a weapons locker and a stasis pantry. Since weapon locker can never be an adaptor, you should probably check whether the stasis pantry is an adaptor or not. 47%, well, to get this up, I would have to find a hyper multi-tool. Chances are certainly non-zero. But I'm willing to just take the 47 now. No such luck. That's actually unfortunate. Finding a pisto or something early on can be a great boon for any run. Now this is hard difficulty. There is absolutely no guarantee that I will win. Hard difficulty is, as the name suggests, hard. Alright, finished killing the Kosei, killed Scorpion, killed everything else on this floor. Time to go on to the next floor. Oh, apparently there's a robot left running around, not really a big deal. I don't like to waste my time going around chasing down one robot, wasting a lot of food doing that. Not really worth it. You should generally equip armor before going on to a new floor, by the way.
I should keep a tally.
Just good practice. Alright, let's see. Here's a Shadow Bat. I'm going to try avoid attacking the bat as much as possible while it's on a rot pile. Sometimes you risk destroying the rot pile.
Please go away.
Ooh, there's a crazed human. Yeah, see? Don't like that. Better keep my armor on. I'm just going to use the SAR on that bat. I'm a little worried about the crazed human. Those grenades can really hurt. And there's another spider. Ooh, sausage. Look at this. I just have too much food.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
I have no idea where the crazed human is exactly. Let me see. There's a medical room. That particular container could contain lockpicks. Oh, it's a cider. Those aren't too dangerous. I heard something. I think it may have been a large protean.
No, go away.
I'm not absolutely sure. I'm gonna take off my armor to fight these guys because they can do a lot of armor damage.
Blood in the veins flowing.
Definitely want to use my SAR.
Not the tail.
Look at that. The crazed target destroyed one of the containers. Two of the medical containers. This is a problem. This is why you hate crazed Tarkas. Medical containers aren't that critical for the Ranger early on, but they are a source of mechanical skill ups, and everything is like a second Tarka field surgery kit would make me feel so much more comfortable. Do I want to use a heavy pistol on this?
Stop following me.
The problem is, even if I use a heavy pistol on this, I'm gonna have to go through this protean. If I go through this protean, like, Crazed Tarka's probably gonna destroy everything in this room anyway. Very unfortunate. So, it seems doubtful that whether I'll make it in time.
Please go away.
Okay, it destroyed, killed an enemy for me. That's always nice. The larger proteans can actually hurt in melee, so I'm gonna kill this one with the heavy pistol. Sometimes I don't even bother killing them.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Once the protean, medium protean is down to injured, I will kill it with tail swipe.
Corpses.
Small proteans, very vulnerable to just the tail swipe attack. Want to be careful. Now, there is, of course, the risk when you're dropping your stuff and you use, did I just double level? I didn't think I gained that much experience. I think I might have double leveled. That's really unfortunate. It's not like a huge problem with the Ranger, but it is a mistake. Oh well. It's not a huge problem just because, like, you don't get that many skill points anyway. Here I have I found a Terran medkit. That's always nice. It does mean that I probably just lowered the chance to access that lockpick, the weapons container, by a couple %. That's okay. I keep hearing something that I think is a large protean, but I might be mistaken.
I keep a tally.
Let's see, anything here? Not really.
Oh.
I like to wait for the Makosei to come out of the room so that my SAR won't hit the door and take extra damage. Makosei being much more dangerous than the Shadow Bat, I'm going to attack it first. And I have 22 health, enough to survive one hit from it, although it's really cutting it close. Alright. I should level anyway, just because if I hit a mine trap, I'll die. Okay, I didn't double level. Good, good. Yeah, I didn't think I was that close to double leveling. +3 telekinesis, always nice. +1 to lockpick. I'm gonna pump up blade a bit more. It's really hard to go wrong with quite a few extra points in blade early on as the Ranger. I'm also opening all the doors just for the extra experience. Oh, wow. I got very lucky there against the crazed human. Immediately after throwing grenade, it won't throw a second one. So I'll be fine here. Now, if I'm moving close enough, it won't throw a grenade. Let me think. This position's better. gonna hit it with the SAR. These enemies are generally weak enough to just kill with the tail swipe if they're by themselves. But there are a couple other enemies nearby, so I'm going to try to be a little more cautious. Okay, I'm gonna run down here and hide around the corner because there's a Makose, the orange Makose, and they can poison level 4, which is very nasty. So I like to try to lure the Makose around the corner, like so, and then I'll kill it with the SAR. This way I make most efficient use of both my skills and my inventory. Don't really have anything to recharge except that Bordeaux, which is at full charge, but repairing these just for the skill ups is well worth it. Because the Ranger is so food efficient, if you want to take your time to min-max by moving here, the Zool Pup cannot attack me next turn, and now I can hit it with the SAR. Everything is all about maximizing my position to avoid getting hit by the enemy and taking unnecessary damage. So there's a lot of these little tricks that I feel like if you do as the Ranger, it'll really help you. Again, these bats only move 2, so by moving here, there's no way for both bats to simultaneously attack me. Sometimes I get myself into trouble because I try to be too fancy with my maneuvers, and I get myself into a bad position. Scouting Analyzer, that's a really good find early on. This is one of the enemies introduced by the Necromancer DLC. Pretty weak. That's what I heard. They do high-level disease, but I have pretty good might and ability to cure it. Probably should have used the SAR on it anyway. Level 4 disease is where it starts to get kind of iffy. I want to keep the heavy pistol in my inventory when unlocking these containers because there is a chance I will get a bonus drop from it. Not this time. So when it happens, I'll point that mechanic out. Right now, it didn't happen. Basically, the game will roll one. Whenever you open an ammo container, it'll check your inventory for weapons that use ammo. For a weapon that uses most type of ammunition, not quite everything. It doesn't work, for instance, for energy backpacks. Ugh, I have level 4 poison anyway. This is actually a big problem.
Sardo watches over me today.
I don't have any ways of curing poison, I think. The problem being... I better use this once. Because I want to get the disease down one level. The lower the level of disease, the easier it'll be to cure. Plus, I probably needed healing anyway from the poison. Okay, good. Disease, because it can get progressively worse, I'm usually very paranoid about it. Perhaps too paranoid. Some players are much more willing to just let the disease go down by itself. Me, unless I have like 80, 90 might or something like that, I'm pretty concerned. Alright, I'm going to end this video back on floor 2 with my chance to pick this weapons container. Let's see if I succeed. 45%. It's not great. I'm not going to die if it explodes. I have 90 health. So, let's see. 45%. No such luck. Oh well. I think this is a good stopping point for the first video. So, thank you for watching.